Who is the most unpopular man in America? Well, I think the answer has to be Joe Biden. I can't think of anybody else who would beat this guy in a straight-out unpopularity poll. And yet the one person that hasn't figured this out, perhaps no surprise, is Joe Biden. Joe Biden still thinks he's kind of downright incredible. Now, Biden lives, of course, in a kind of twilight zone. Even when I think about 2000 Mules, I think to myself, was this something that Biden was in any sense aware of? But Biden's not aware of much at all. I suspect with Biden, he zones in and out. People have to tell him what's going on. He's like, why do only 6 people show up at my rally? Why do I see these big circles with one person standing in each circle? And they're like, don't worry about it. We've got it figured out. You can take a nap right after this, Joe Biden. But anyway, this guy he sort of moves between pathos. You kind of feel a little sorry for him because he's sort of like that debilitated guy who doesn't really remember his middle name. But on the other side, he's so cranky and mean-spirited and downright malicious, so that I have trouble feeling purely sorry for him. I feel sorry for him, but then I develop a certain kind of venom which matches his own. I'm like, wow, this guy is really doing damage to this country, and we cannot take that lightly. So I think the American people know this. They've had it with this guy. They wish they could kind of run him out of town. Of course, they don't want Kamala Harris either. But all of this is the background for what I now read, and it really makes me laugh, is apparently Joe Biden has a real solution for the Democrats in the midterm election coming up in November, and the solution is more Joe Biden. Yes, I kid you not. No, this is not a routine. Apparently, White House officials have said, quote, expect more POTUS. So Joe Biden evidently is now going to go on a kind of a speaking tour. A speaking tour in which he's going to put himself in front of the American people. He's going to, quote, speak directly to the American people about what we've done and what we're doing. Really? You're going to speak to the American people about what? What you've done? What? People falling out of planes in Afghanistan, a botched situation in Ukraine, soaring energy prices, runaway inflation, a festering open border. You've done all this. You're still doing it. And this is your sales pitch? Wow. I mean, it would not be out of line for the Republicans to say, we'll pay for this speaking tour. This speaking tour is like part of our campaign, not your campaign. You can bill our campaign because this is all that these Democratic candidates running for the House or the Senate or other positions need, is to have this albatross of Biden show up. But again, Biden seems to have blithe confidence. In the same way that he's ignored the public opinion polls all this way along, he's shown no sign that he's going to slow down, hit the brakes. He's not doing the Clinton maneuver, no triangulation. No, Biden's getting ready to head out to Iowa. He's apparently then planning to go to North Carolina, to Portland. And his big sales pitch evidently is this. Wages have climbed 5.6% over last year. Well, last year we were in the heart of the pandemic. You've seen a very modest wage increase, but the wage increase has been completely obliterated by inflation. What's the point of getting 5.6% in wages if you've got 8.5% inflation? You're basically in the negative. Moreover, the economy has come to a screeching halt in the most recent information numbers. You actually have the economy going into contraction. So normally you're talking about a rate of growth, and it's a fast rate of growth or a slower rate of growth, but it's growth nevertheless. This is a whole different matter. You're seeing the economy shrink under Biden. So this guy's got a lot of explaining to do. In a sense, he needs an apology tour, not an Obama-style apology tour where he's going abroad and apologizing for the United States, but an apology tour in which he goes around and apologizes to the American people for the ruin that he's imposed on America in such a short time. In a sense, what he's got to say is no one could have imagined I could do so much damage in such a short time. That itself qualifies in a negative sense as a certain kind of accomplishment. Biden's plan, however, is to sort of blame it all. Well, he tried to blame it all on Putin. Gas prices, it's Vladimir's fault. Inflation, hey, Vladimir did it. But his latest whipping boy is, of course, the Republicans. And he was apparently gave a talk in Seattle where he goes, "It ain't your father's Republican Party." I like the ain't part. Not it isn't your father. It ain't your father's Republican Party. Come on, man. This is Biden in his aw shucks routine. And a little bit like Obama's routines, where Obama would be like, well, there's an important distinction between ISIS and ISIL. You know, when you first hear it, you're like, man, this is a thoughtful guy. He's into nuance. But after a while, you realize, this is a con man. He doesn't know the difference himself. He's picked up these buzzwords. It's just all part of these are performance artists. And for Biden, this working man routine, I mean, this is a kind of sodden, corrupt, a politician who's been on the take for God knows how long. He's been in politics his entire life, but he pretends like he's a longshoreman. He hangs out with working class guys. And this fake rhetoric is all part of that. Look, it's not going to sell. The American people know exactly who this guy is. And I think that they're going to send him a very good message. Maybe he still won't get it, but the message will be sent nevertheless in November.